Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of More to Explore. Right now, we're looking at a live view of the West End Overlook Cam. And my name is Brian Bird. I'm flying solo today, but I am happy to be here with all of you. Good morning to everybody joining us today. Willy Nilly, MW, Bear Mom, CL Robin, and everybody else joining us today. And if you're new to the explore.org community, welcome. And welcome back to all of our longtime viewers. We are the world's largest live nature network with now over 200 live cams around the world. And we just launched 3 new cams down in Argentina, including this active penguin nest with 2 eggs. And also along with that, it is still polar bear season with Polar Bears International. So if you haven't, definitely check out the polar bear cams. But with my co-host Mike speaking at a conference, I'd like to feature our field operations team today. And as you can imagine, with so many live cameras, it takes a lot of effort to maintain and keep these cameras running. And typically, other than hosting this show and producing our other live events, I am supporting the field operations team remotely. But last week, I got to join them in the field, including Joe Pfeiffer, Explore.org's Director of Field Operations, and BJ Kirchhoffer, Explore's Field Systems Engineer. And we went to Catalina Island as they prepared for eagle season for 2026. So without further ado, here is my experience of the trip for this segment of This tale from the field. We're heading to the small town of Two Harbors on Catalina Island, which is about 22 miles off the coast of Southern California. Our partner, the Institute of Wildlife Studies, has been involved with bald eagle restoration since 1980. Explore.org hosts multiple live cams in 2 locations, the Two Harbors location and the West End location. All of the heavy equipment was ready to go via helicopter, and all of the team met up in San Pedro, California, where they got ready to get on a boat to the island. All right, everybody, here we are in San Pedro, California. Just met up with Joe and BJ. And here's just some of the stuff that's coming on the boat with us. And that's not even including what went on a helicopter today. So we're gonna be here getting on one of these boats, and we'll be getting to Catalina here shortly. And after a lovely hour boat ride, we made it to Two Harbors. And once we got all of the equipment loaded off of the boat and to where we were staying, we settled in for the night and got ready for day 1. And for day 1, I didn't really know what to expect, but we got the car packed up and then we took off to the road outside of town. And the plan was to split up into 2 teams, where Joe will be taking care of the work in Two Harbors and BJ will be taking care of the work at the West End. So as we got to the trailhead to the Two Harbors location, we dropped off Joe and Ralph and continued on to the West End, which included a very long, very bumpy car ride. And eventually we reached the end of the road, which we had to hike the rest. All right, so we're here at the end of the road. BJ, we're heading to the West End. Where do we got to go from here?
Yeah, so we're gonna take off down a small trail here, kind of follow the ridge line out to the West End of Catalina. And there we have a couple of our Eagle cameras, a nice overlook camera, and then a couple Nest cameras. Gonna replace some of the electronics out there, as well as move some cameras around for a better view.
Let's take a walk.
Let's do it.
And I think the hike was about a mile, and it was a lot of kind of these views up on these narrow ridges. I think my theme was cliff or cactus, because there's a lot of times where you're just on the side of a cliff or in the cactus. And on this ridge right here, we actually found a little baby rattlesnake, which was both cute and terrifying. But a little bit further, and we made it up to the top to the repeater site. All right, we hiked all the way up, and now we're at the top of West End at the repeater site. So BJ, give us a tour, and what are we planning on doing here?
Yeah, sure. So we're on the West End of Catalina right now. This is where the internet comes from San Pedro, comes into here, and then we send another data stream kind of down the rocks here. And this is where, believe it or not, in that cloud is the Eagle Nest, an overlook camera, and the 2 Nest cameras. So this is kind of where all the magic happens here. We're gonna pull this box off, another box off, rearrange the batteries a little bit, and then have some new stuff dropped by helicopter, hopefully, if the weather gets better.
Cool.
And we'll replace it.
And after BJ got all the work done, ready for the helicopter, the weather just did not let up. So unfortunately, they took a couple passes, and each time the weather just got worse. So it just wasn't in the cards. And you can see here BJ getting the message from the pilot that it just wasn't going to happen. So, but luckily Joe was able to get his equipment dropped. So overall, there was progress. And the last thing we did before we headed out was to go down to the nest location and scope out what it was going to take to move the lower cam. Okay, this is looking back to where we just hiked. And it's pretty crazy. There's one side, not much of a ledge to the other side. So coming fully around. Here's the radio from where we were at the repeater, getting signal down here. And down there is the west end camera. And right over there, see if I can zoom in a little bit. That's where the nest used to be a couple years ago. And that is the active one. And with the plan in place for the next day, we made the steep hike back up to the repeater site and then back to the car. And trust me, these guys make it look so easy. We made it back. I'm very tired. All right, good morning. It is day 2 here on Catalina, and today I'm on team Joe and Ralph. We're heading out to the Two Harbors cameras.
Two Harbors relay.
Two Harbors relay. So how far is it out there?
It's that high peak right there. It's just on the other side of that.
Just on the other side. Cool. And luckily the weather was perfect on this hike. There was just as much cactus, but as you started climbing to the top, you got that like bird's eye view of Two Harbors. It was just absolutely beautiful by the time we got to the top where the repeater site was. All right, we made it up to the top. We're here with the Two Harbors relay with Team Joe today. So yesterday, Joe, we didn't have much luck with the weather with the helicopter, but it seemed like you guys had more luck.
We did, yes.
So tell us, what'd you get? And actually first, let's take a quick tour of what we got here.
Sure. So this, like Brian said, this is the Two Harbors relay. This is where the internet comes in for the Two Harbors overlook and the Two Harbors nest cam. This whole array right here, this is how we get the internet here. We've got, this is completely off grid, so we're relying on solar panels for the power. Those black boxes, those are battery boxes, and we have 6 large batteries in those. And then we have a Starlink that connects to space, and that big dish which beams over to San Pedro. And so we have a redundant link here just in case one of them goes down. We can always have internet here. A bonus at this place is we have this little tiny what they call marshmallow dish pointing that way. That's USC Wrigley that's actually over there. And we have a camera on their dock that kind of just watches underwater life over there.
Very cool. And so what were the goals for this trip for this site?
This trip, we were having power issues up here, so we put in new solar panels and we put in new batteries. As you can see, it would be very difficult to hike both of those things here. So part of the biggest challenge here is helicoptering in the new equipment and then helicoptering out the old equipment. I don't know if you can see over there's little towers, but basically that tower right there.
Okay, yeah.
That's where the airport is, somewhere in that area. And so a helicopter has to have a clear line of sight, basically at all times, from where they're at to the ground. So this marine layer, we've been dancing around it the whole time.
Yeah, it's been coming in and out really quickly.
So basically it's just kind of a hit or miss whether or not we can do it. Yesterday we were able to get our new equipment here, and now we have these 2 sling loads ready for departure. That's basically our old stuff.
That was one of my questions. So you have all this equipment dropped here. You set it all up, so it's important to get it off. So you just basically load it back up, and the helicopter takes it out.
Yes. So we we basically clean up after ourselves. Old equipment is just as important going out as new equipment is coming in. So that way we don't accumulate a bunch of basically junk in weird areas like this.
Yeah, totally. And it makes sense. And it doesn't even seem like it was not even like a month ago that you guys were wrapping up brown bear season,
Yes.
right? And so it doesn't seem like there's much downtime. But like I can imagine a big project like this. Like we're here, you know, Team BJ's on the other side on the west end happening. There's helicopters all over. So what's that preparation like?
You know, lots of emails and phone calls and just meticulously weighing things and meticulously planning out each day and having a like plan A, plan B, plan C. Like if all like there's a lot of moving parts that have to come into play or like fall in line for everything to actually happen the way we plan it. But like this marine layer throws a wrench into everything.
Right.
And even right now, like the helicopter's on its way from Long Beach, but like it doesn't really matter what it looks like right now. It only matters what it looks like when the helicopter's here.
Right.
And whether or not we can do this or what it looks like on the west end where BJ is. And like if they can't hit us here, they can hit him over there. That's what it was yesterday. They could hit us, but they couldn't hit BJ.
Right.
So as long as we make progress with the overall plan, like that's what we're going for, is trying to get it all done in the way we planned it, in the time frame we planned it, but at the same time leaving enough wiggle room to account for like stuff like this.
Right. Well, awesome. So we're waiting for the helicopter to sling these out. We're in communication with BJ to see if hopefully he'll get the helicopter today, and we'll go from there.
Yes.
And not long after that, we heard the helicopters and we were happy to see that they were heading to the west end, meaning that BJ was getting his equipment that he needed to install. And that's when things started moving pretty fast, because it wasn't long after them going to the west end that they came back for the 2 loads here at Two Harbors. And I have to admit that I'm pretty happy that there were 2 loads, because the first time around when I was trying to get this shot of it picking it up, I completely underestimated the wind that these propellers generate and the camera just totally fell over. But luckily I was able to reset for the second one and get a better shot. With everything a success, we were going to go down to see the cameras, but after double checking everything, we actually saw an eagle on the nest, so we decided not to. And that was a wrap for day 2, getting ready for day 3 to head back to the west end. Day 3's weather was absolutely amazing, and we got to see a little island fox here, and our snake friend was still in the same spot, but we made it up to the top.
All right, BJ, day 3, back at West End. Looks like yesterday the helicopter was able to make it, and you got this gigantic spool of wire and this new box. What are we doing with it?
Yeah, so helicopter was able to make it in yesterday, which was great. Giant spool we're just gonna kind of hang on to for next year. We're running out of time. But this thing here we're gonna hang up, and then we'll tie in all the solar and the wireless radios, everything that we need to make the cameras work.
And with the box hung up and BJ wiring everything together, the rest of us went down to go see the new cam location.
Okay, we made it to the West End cam. Here's the West End upper cam. And if I can zoom in way up there, you can see the overlook cam. And even further is that repeater site. So there was that other camera down below. And yesterday, BJ and Peter moved the nest, moved the camera. So this was the old nest that they used to occupy. And now the nest is right down here, which you'll remember from last season. And now they've moved the cam, so it's right next to it. So this season we're gonna get incredible close-ups of the nest.
BJ was able to get everything hooked up, so here is our first look at the new cam angle.
All right, BJ, into day 3, we're all done. And you guys didn't waste any time yesterday. You did a lot. So
yeah, we had a big day. Pete and I spent a good portion of the day hanging off of ropes. We got a really cool new camera in right near the nest here at where are we? We're at West End.
West End.
So really pumped to see how that looks when the birds show up. And then the rest of the day was spent kind of prepping everything so that when we came back this morning, we could just mount this box up and make everything happen pretty fast.
Yeah, so with this big box, so we hung it and you connected everything together. And what's the main goal for like a big box like this?
Yeah, it looks kind of big when you're out here, but once you get kind of everything in there, it does fill up fast. But we're trying to standardize our stuff across the Explore different sites. And then also future-proof ourselves as different satellite internet companies become available and other communication styles become available. We want to be able to integrate that into these, and so that'll be easy. All the parts are the same. We can just pop them in. There's a little bit of space in there, and hopefully kind of reduce the amount of infrastructure that's required to get internet out to a place like this.
And it's a good thing that, we were able to get it done today because it seems like we have some weather coming in tomorrow.
Sounds like it.
So we're gonna get off the island.
Yeah, it looks super nice right now. We're hanging out in t-shirts and sunnies, but they're saying anywhere between, I don't know, I've heard anywhere between 2 inches to maybe 4 inches of water is about to fall here, so who knows. I think it's time to leave though. We don't want to be around for that.
Nope.
Cool.
All right, let's head out.
See ya.
And just like that, we did our final hike down, and luckily we pretty much got straight on a boat to make sure that we were able to get off the island. And as we waved goodbye to Two Harbors, the icing on the cake is we got to see these dolphins, which was absolutely spectacular. And if right when we thought we couldn't beat that, we saw a humpback whale, which was truly amazing. And that's it for this trip for Two Harbors. And thanks for joining us for these Tales from the Field. And once again, I want to thank the field operations team for having me. And I see in the chat, there's a lot of appreciation for their hard work. There's so much that happens behind these that brings us these live views. And I'm looking forward to the next one already. But we do have other events coming up that I want to share with everybody. So tomorrow we do have the AfriCam show at 6 a.m. Pacific. And then don't forget that we are wrapping up polar bear season. So be sure to see the live chat on 11/19. Bye-bye from Buggy One EV. And then Thursday, we have our Wild Moment show again at 6 a.m. to see all the best clips from the AfriCam cameras. And then we're going to be taking a little bit of a break for the holidays. But the next More to Explore show will definitely be on 12/15 as we do a wrap up for 2025. Can't believe we're wrapping up to the end of the year already, but we are already gearing up like this at the West End and Two Harbors for Eagle Season 2026. So that is our show today. And I want to give, of course, a special thank you to all of our moderators and camera operators for making the magic happen. And of course, one more shout out to the field operations team. And join us again for another episode of More to Explore again, December 15th. And until then, happy exploring.